Hey everyone, today we're ranking the 3 demons of Evil Dead the game, from worst to best. Let's get into it. As of now, there is quite a gap between the Warlord and the other 2 demon classes, with the Warlord feeling significantly weaker. I think the main reason behind this is that the basic troops have nothing going for them really, and the boss has very little in the way of incapacitation and defense. The basic units can dodge, which is good, however both of their other abilities aren't the best. The tearing off of their arm often isn't that effective, particularly as for the most part, basic units are going to be executed, and so won't get the chance to do this. Then the puke attack is one that's easy to dodge, and again doesn't seem to come up that often. It can give some useful effects when leveled up though, like blocking dodges and sprints. The elite units also have very little in the way of protection, and are quite slow and lumbering, with their heaviest attacks also being quite easy to dodge. Controlling the elites for the Warlord can be quite effective, but the AI versions I feel are often fairly easy to dispatch of as survivor. Their heavy attacks can output a solid amount of damage though, and it's not something to be frowned at. The ability for Warlord is an activatable buff that will boost the power of your units, bumping their health, attack frequency, and damage in a set area around you. This can be very strong, particularly if you combo together a trap, with a couple portal placements. As long as you keep the survivors in a set area, you can also make use of the buff out of spirit form when possessing a unit. My main gripes with this ability is its short duration, small radius, and the fact that it kind of requires you to be in spirit form to be used to its full effect. Henrietta, the boss, is kind of in the same ballpark as the others. Very little protection, not much in the way of repelling or dodging, and abilities that just don't seem very effective. Her attacks can be quite deadly, and her hug attack can be quite effective when you get a survivor alone. However, the slam and gas leak attacks feel fairly worthless I find, and feel like they don't combo particularly well either. I always feel extremely exposed when playing Henrietta. Most of the attacks need you to be up close and personal, but at that point there's nothing really to hold back attacks, aside a slam now and then. You kind of just have to tank all the damage. I find she's at her best when there's the distraction of other units, and you can target 1 or 2 people at a time. Next up we have the Puppeteer. The choice between the top 2 is very hard in my opinion, but Puppeteer is just a little weaker for now. Possession as of now is incredibly powerful, so the Puppeteer's possession focus, I would argue, is kind of a big deal. I get the feeling as time goes by, Puppeteer is going to be the strongest demon, again due to the strength of possession. The basic units for the Puppeteer are similar to the Warlord's basic units, having little in the way of protection, but having a dodge, and a body part removal ability, and then finally a self-destruct option. My main issue with these units is that I feel the self-destruct is far too easy to dodge, and doesn't do quite enough. It often feels like a waste of an ability even. I would go so far to argue that these are the least threatening basic units of the 3 demons. In numbers they do definitely pose a greater threat though. The elite unit is the Demi-Elagos. This unit has some solid abilities. It can duplicate itself, creating a second, but weaker copy. Then it can also create a lightning strike that stuns and damages survivors. One of the main benefits of this class is the stun abilities, that can really mess with the survivors. The duplicity ability sounds like a bit of a gimmick, but it's actually very effective, and can be quite oppressive, particularly for a lone survivor, and more so if you're possessing the unit. The Puppeteer's main ability is their power possess. This is like regular possession, except whatever unit you possess gains additional health, damage, and a higher fear is struck with each attack. Again, possession is already very strong I feel, so having this ability is incredibly nice, and allows you to really make the most of your units. Power possessing a unit with the help of a few other units can be so deadly. Finally we have the boss Elagos. This is maybe my favourite boss to play, capable of turning completely invisible when moving, and able to incapacitate the survivor side with ease. Elagos has a telekinetic surge, a large AoE shock attack that stuns the survivors briefly. A good tool for halting a full team, or opening a route for escape from multiple attacks. Casting Stones lets you throw a shockwave of rocks, a decent attack that seems to output some solid damage. Then finally its grab attack, Psychic Squeeze, which lets you immobilize a survivor, holding them in place and damaging them. This boss is incredibly chaotic I find, and is the boss that causes some of the most panic for the survivors. It does seem to have one of the lower health bars out of the bosses, but it certainly can make up for it in damage and delay. So of course, finally this means we have the Necromancer. The Necromancer's basic units have shields, which means even though the skeletons themselves aren't that strong, they can still be annoying to deal with for the survivor. The best way to take them out being a headshot or getting behind them with a melee weapon. They can also dodge attacks, which is pretty nice, particularly for possession. Having the shield means a bad shot will typically shatter the shield, and a direct attack can be blocked. I don't think the skeletons are very good at damage output, but they are good at slowing down the survivors, which is arguably all they really need to do. They seem to be the biggest nuisance to deal with, out of any of the basic units of all three demons. The elite units are essentially just a buffed up version of the basic skeleton, and can be very strong when possessed. They seem capable of outputting some solid damage, and again are able to really slow down the survivors because of their shields. These units also can't be knocked back without some attacks first, making them much more deadly, and typically require a coordinated attack between a couple players. The special ability you have is the Flautist Skeleton. This is a stationary unit that you can place down that will do a few doot-doots and buff the units in the area with extra damage. This can be great for, well, buffing the units, but also using it as a distraction tool. I've managed to pull off a few plays where I've drawn a survivor away with the Flautist, only to ambush them with a trap or some units, so it has versatility too, I feel. A sneaky spot can go a long way. The Necromancer has the best boss unit, I feel, with Evil Ash. One of the main benefits being the capability to dodge like a survivor. It feels almost like a buffed survivor possession. Avoiding attacks can let you easily manage multiple opponents and give yourself a far better chance at dealing more damage, where other bosses can easily get overwhelmed by multiple incoming attacks. The gameplay with Evil Ash feels extremely smooth, and again, much like a survivor. It's also the only boss capable of spawning in units whilst playing as the boss, allowing further skeletons to spawn, and further retain those skeletons with the resurrection ability. Finally, the life drain ability is great for large chunks of damage, and also some healing, as it not only damages them, but also heals you at the same time. Alright, well, that's gonna do it. I do hope you enjoyed, and be sure to drop your own thoughts on the demons down below. Thanks, and goodbye.